Lesson 9 is our final lesson, and it contains 14 sample questions based on this very long chapter of service design. These questions, as well as their answers, can also be found in the book that accompanies this DVD. I suggest that you first try to answer the question by watching this presentation. After I read the question here, press pause on your DVD so you can answer the question at your own pace. Press the pause button again to resume the DVD and to check your answer. If you get an answer wrong, you can look up the answer and its explanation in your book at the end of Chapter 3. Let's get started. Question 1. For which of the following is the Service Catalog Manager responsible? The answer is C. Question 2. Which of the following list is a valid type of SLA? The answer is D. Question 3. What types of data are stored in the Capacity Management Information System? The answer is C. Question 4. Capacity management goes hand in hand with what process? The answer is D. Question 5. Which of the following availability management activities are considered to be reactive as opposed to proactive? Choose your answer from A through D. The answer is B. Question 6. What does availability measure? The answer is A. Question 7. A risk is something that? The answer is D. Question 8. Which process or processes must adhere to security policies? The answer is D, all of the above. Question 9. Which process must consider business continuity plans as part of its own planning? The answer is B. Question 10. Who compiles the service design package and ensures that it is complete? The answer is C. Question 11. Which of the 5 major aspects of service design is missing from the list below? Choose your answer from A through D. The answer is D. Question 12. How often should service level management present reports back to the customer? The answer is D. Question 13. Information security management is closely related to what other process or processes? The answer is C. And for our last question, question 14, the 4 P's of service design are people, processes, products, and partners. What do we mean by products? The answer is A. Excellent work! You just got through our longest chapter, Chapter 3, which gave you the highlights of the service design book of the IT Infrastructure Library. In Lesson 1, we heard an overview of the service design phase, covering key concepts such as the 5 aspects of service design, which spells out STAMP, the service design package, which is the key output of service design and contains everything service transition will need to build, test, and install the service, and it also contains all of the metrics that service operation will need to measure the service once it goes live. This service design package is compiled by a person called a service design manager, and once it's complete, it's handed off to the service transition phase, which is coming up next. Service design packages are required every time we are designing a new service, designing a change to an existing service, or retiring a service. We don't need to create one when we're having a true emergency change. We also learned about the 4 P's of service design: people, processes, products, and partners, and how the implementation of IT service management is about preparing and planning the effective and efficient use of these 4 P's. Don't forget that in the service design phase, the only thing we're doing is designing things. If you see an exam question that asks, "In what phase of the life cycle do we design blah?" the answer will always be service design. We don't buy, build, or test anything in service design. We save all that stuff for service transition, which is coming up next. Think of the service design phase as the phase in the life cycle where we're only using things like graph paper, Visio, notebooks, and whiteboards, and that's it. We're not getting our hands dirty quite yet. Lesson 2 was Service Catalog Management, the first of 7 processes we outlined in the Service Design book. The Service Catalog manages and maintains the Service Catalog, which is the portion of the service portfolio that contains current operational services, as well as those just being queued for operational running. The 2 aspects of the Service Catalog are the Business Service Catalog and the Technical Service Catalog. Next, we talked about Service Level Management, which is one of the cornerstones of ITIL. Here we learned about how the Service Level Manager is the face of IT to customers who are requesting IT services. We also learned about service level agreements, operational level agreements, and underpinning contracts. And we also learned about the service review, where the Service Level Manager reports our service achievements back to the customer. Don't forget that whenever you see the word negotiates, you're most likely dealing with the Service Level Management process, so that's a great test tip. Lesson 4 explored capacity management, which provides cost-justifiable IT capacity, and this process also goes hand in hand with demand management from back-end service strategy. Capacity management stores its capacity-related data in a repository called the CMIS, the Capacity Management Information System. Lesson 5 discussed availability management, where we learned vocabulary like availability, reliability, maintainability, and serviceability. We also learned about availability management's reactive and proactive activities. The availability-related data is stored in the Availability Management Information System, or the AMIS. Lesson 6 discussed the IT Service Continuity Management process, which is our fancy way of saying disaster recovery, and it gets its direction from the business process called Business Continuity Management. Lesson 7 described Information Security Management, and the 3 key vocabulary terms, confidentiality, integrity, and availability, can be memorized as CIA, because when we think about security, we think about the CIA. We also learned that security management writes the information security policy, which contains an access control policy section. That access control policy will be carried out in the access management process in service operation. The process of information security management also described the information security framework called the ISMS, or the Information Security Management System. Lesson 8 was our short chapter on supplier management, where we learned that supplier management ensures that we're getting good value from our suppliers and that they're adhering to our supplier policy. Supplier data is stored in the SCD, or the Supplier and Contract Database. Our next chapter, Chapter 4, outlines the 3rd book, or the 3rd phase of the service life cycle, called Service Transition. See you there.